We're doing the thing now.
We're doing the thing now.
We're doing the thing now. So we're going to have a guest on today, Damon Dillard. He's awesome. He's a friend of mine. He's going to be joining us soon, but we were like, hey, we need to do an intro thing. So this is our first time trying this. We're going to suck at it. So welcome to this.
Cold open.
Cold open. We was like, you want to record? Let's record, because that's how we do it here. But we did want to let you know that we did Taco Tuesday with Christian Brundle and Glenn Shelton. And even though Nick didn't have any tacos,
I did not know.
We had a great discussion, and it's going to be up here or over there. I'm not sure what's going to be. Ryan's going to make a magic happen. We're going to put it in the description of this video. Make sure you go watch it, and make sure you watch today's video, because it's going to talk a lot about door knocking.
Oh, yeah.
And Damon's awesome about door knocking. I am a good friend of Damon, and he taught me a lot when I was first starting out. So it's going to be awesome.
And I don't know Damon at all, so this is going to be fun.
It will be fun. Stay tuned. So what we found, Damon. Welcome back, everybody. We're recording now. Welcome back.
We're recording now.
The insurance panel, everybody. I got Nick Frumpkin with me, and if you don't know who he is by now, you should. If you've ever been on Facebook and you've done Final Expense, Damon Dillard, one of my good friends, TDT Financial. Welcome to the insurance panel, my friend. How the heck are you?
Man, what's going on? What's going on? I'm excited, man. When I got the shout out from Nick and you, I was like, okay, all right, I might be somebody in the world again. Okay, all right, I'm excited. But nah, man, I want to acknowledge you guys. I mean, you guys have been doing some great things in the industry for the last few years. Your name is in rooms that you wouldn't even believe. But I always see the success that you guys are putting out there. You're always looking to inspire. You're always looking to help people, even if there isn't a monetary gain. So anybody with that type of initiative, I'm all about working with them, man.
Awesome.
You know, me and you have a history. We worked at the same first company that we worked for, and but believe it or not, we worked at we work together loosely now. We walked into a room one day, and I was like, David, what up, dude? You're like, Murray, what up, dude? I was like, I ain't seen you in so long, man.
It was Hawaii. I don't think I've seen you since Hawaii.
Yeah, man. So when I was working at the first company, what I would do, Nick, is I would reach out I would look at the leaderboard. I didn't want to see the bottom of the leaderboard. I would go to the top of the leaderboard, and Damon was always in the top 10 every month. And I was like, who is this cat? And I looked him up on Facebook, added him on Facebook, and he's doing live videos where he's dialing people on Facebook Live. And I'm like, I got to call this dude right now, because when I was taught, it was don't make any dials.
Right.
At all. Don't do any of that. And I was like, I'm only door knocking. I was like, I got to call Damon. So I called Damon. He gave me some nuggets. And then, boom, I met you in Hawaii because I implemented things that you taught me and what other people have taught me. And I started creating massive success. So, and then we just, our friendship grew from there. And then we saw each other. So it's been really good, man. You're an inspiring person yourself.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. You as well.
Absolutely. And I don't know, this is the first time that you and Nick have probably seen each other or talked face to face. I know you've seen each other online, but Nick
it's not the same.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we talked about that on Taco Tuesday the other day. Like, there's some people like me and Nick have been doing this for years. We've never actually met each other.
Right. Which is weird. Yeah.
Which seems really weird. But it's almost like I was asking about his family before we even got on this call, because I care about him and his family, because we've developed such a relationship doing YouTube videos. Yeah. But earlier I said that I called you for help on calling people, but today we're supposed to be talking about door knocking, because that's what you're really good at. That's also what I'm really good at.
Yeah.
But Nick's a huge believer in only calling and not so much door knocking, right, Nick?
Well, no.
Okay.
So no. I think you need to I think you need to door knock. I think anybody who's out there selling Final Expense is going to have to learn how to door knock at some point. You just can't see enough people otherwise. But the question seems to be, should you be calling people first, or should you be calling people that you're not getting in touch with when you're door knocking, or like, how do you incorporate door knocking into your life? Is door knocking like your primary mode of operation? And we talked, this was one of the very, very, very first topics that we ever covered with these videos. But we were trying to keep the videos short then and like make it like 20 minutes or less. And I think that actually, as much as I like some of those early videos, I don't think we did a very good job of covering the topic on this particular subject. So we've been looking to find somebody who could talk to us about it. And the problem we keep running into is like the people who we find that are big door knocking advocates either have not been in the business very long, don't want to go on a video with us, or have stopped being door knockers primarily. It came, I don't even remember what it came up in, but it came up in one of the Facebook groups where Damon was like, hey, I don't know what's with everybody calling people first, but if you've got a whole bunch of local leads and a tank of gas, why are you not going out and knocking on every one of those doors before you start like picking up the phone and dialing? And I was like, we need to get him on our show. He's the guy.
Yeah, man. I guess I can open that up a couple of ways. Again, for me, I'm more of a principle and a system guy. I've been a part of organizations in the past where they were very people driven and not so much systems driven. And the problem with that is if you have too many voices speaking, a lot of the newer agents, a lot of the inexperienced agents are going to be led in several different ways. And we know what that happens. Where there's confusion, there's not going to be any action at all. So for me, the number one principle that I was ever taught when it comes to being successful in business is who do you listen to? That was the number one thing that my mentor said to me. He said, hey, if you don't want to be broke again, the one thing you must master is who do you listen to? And so for me, I encourage everybody, listen, find somebody who's done what you're looking to do. And I don't care what they tell you to do. If they have the results that you're looking for, and obviously they don't tell you to do anything unethical or out of character, then do exactly what they say. So for me, when I started in the business in 2015, I had met a gentleman that was doing $30,000 every single month. I mean, month in, month out. And maybe Matt remembers this, but we were in the days where you had to collect a check. If you didn't collect a check, that means you probably were not going to get paid. And I mean, he would literally get checks, what we would call good to go, at every single home. At the time, I'm just coming into business. I'm getting a bunch of direct express business. I'm writing like 12 to 15 grand a month, and I'm trying to go to the next level. I'm seeing him deposit 20, 25 grand. I give him a call. I'm not shy. I'm pretty ambitious. I'm very, very curious. And I just said, man, what are you doing? Are you calling people ahead of time? What are you doing? He said, no, I'm just going to knock them. So I started to do a little research, and I talked to a couple of other producers like him, and they said, yeah, I knock my doors first. If it's within a 2-hour radius to me, I'm knocking doors. Now, to your point, I've spoke to other producers on company conventions, and they said, listen, I don't knock a single door unless I've called first. So again, that's why I said, whoever is your direct upline, because what a lot of producers or brand new people try to do is they'll try to inexcuse their procrastination or their inability to be coachable by saying, well, there's something else I don't know. So you know what, I know Damon's my upline, but let me reach out to Matt because maybe he has the secret sauce. And then Matt ends up saying the same thing that I said or a version of it. And they say, oh, well, you know what? I'm not quite ready to work yet. Let me go ahead and call Nick. I'm sure Nick is doing something new.
Yeah.
So I don't care what they're doing out there. Come up with a strategy. Here's what's important as well. Know what your end result is. Because about 98% of the agents I get on the line with, I ask them quite simply, what's your goal? And they have no idea.
It's so important. Like you gotta, like, I know we were going to be talking about door knocking and calling and stuff, but like this is so very relevant to things that have been happening in my world just today. Because in the IMO that I work for, like there was an agent who was putting on our group chat just earlier today, like, hey, I am seeing X, Y, and Z all over Facebook, and it's different than what you guys are saying to do, and I don't know what to do. And the overwhelming response was, you're not working with any of those people. You've got a system right here that, like, it's a very specific system. Like, just forget all of that. Get yourself successful first. Like, pay your bills. you know,
Yeah.
you know, and then that idea of having goals to set and knowing what you're working towards.
Yeah, you know, I've seen so many people in this industry, and I'm sure you guys can agree that you've seen it before as well. They continue to change company after company. Guess what? To avoid changing themselves. They'll say this IMO didn't work or that company didn't work. Man, I'm notorious for saying, listen, everybody's going to tell you the same thing in this industry. We got the best leadership. We got the best leads. We got the best system. We got the best products. We got the best online platform. We got the best recruiting. But guess what? When I was being recruited that way, I said, well, tell me something. If it's the best, that means everybody that comes to your agency wins.
Right.
Oh, that's not, oh, okay. So that means I take me wherever I go. So instead of the focus always being on what is that person saying? What is that person saying? I promise you half of the time, probably more than that, if people would do what their coach told them to do the first time, they wouldn't be running into any of the issues that they're currently experiencing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I tell people all the time, there is no like secret, like anything. If you follow a successful person, if you follow somebody who is good at what they're doing and they're already successful, any system that they tell you to follow will work if you do it. And there's so many agents that just don't want to, I guess, for lack of a better, you know, they just, they're so convinced that there's some secret out there that they're missing on
the secret.
And it's frustrating.
Well, there's no real secret. If there's any secret, it's time, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so many young people that get in this business that are 22, 23, 24, 25, right? And they want to be Damon today when they didn't want to be Damon when he started.
Right.
They didn't want to go through the door knocks and the dials and the systems and all the things that Damon did to get where he is today, even though he's saying this is all you have to do. They want to get to the end result. They don't want to do the work that's there. And the most important part is the work, because that's what you're going to be doing for the majority of your life. That's entrepreneurship. So you better enjoy that part of it. Don't try to skip that part and get to the end goal, because it's not going to work. Right. Yeah. And you said something, you know, call the person that wants to do something that you want to do. I saw you, I called you and said, I want to do the level of success that you're having. I called you and said, tell me what you're doing. I'm going to do that one thing. And you told me, and I did it, and it worked.
Yeah.
It 100% worked. And part of that was door knocking. I was like, how do you door knock your leads, Damon? And if I asked you that now versus what you told me 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was the exact same thing. You know why? Because it was what you were told, and it was what worked, right? It worked.
And it still works to this day.
Still to this day, right? But I think between like door knocking and calling and setting and all that stuff, you got to understand how to door knock, even if you set an appointment, because even if you're good at setting appointments and you could set 10 a day, right? Yeah. Some of those people, when you walk up to the door, are going to go, nah, that's all right. Right. Yeah. And if you don't know how to get past a rebuttal or a basic door knock rebuttal, you're going to go, okay, have a good day. And you've wasted your next hour.
Right.
Right. Yeah. That's going to happen to a lot. Right, Nick? Because you run a lot.
Yeah.
But when what happens to Nick, he's going to go, oh, yeah. And he's going to say whatever he's going to say and get right into the door, because he understands how to door knock or how to go through those rebuttals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to miss something that you said, Matt. I think it's very, very important, especially for your guys' audience, to understand something you were saying. And I want to elaborate on that. You guys said, why aren't people willing to go through that process? And you said time. I'm a huge believer in laws, right? I think laws are irrefutable. I don't care if you're a good person, bad person, short, fat, skinny, cute, ugly, doesn't matter. A law is the law. Like the law of gravity, for example. If I threw you off the top of the building, no matter what, you're gonna fall. You're not gonna fly. You're not gonna float. You'll fall. People don't understand that there's a law behind creating wealth. I don't think we'd be on the line right now if we had not made some type of money. There is a law behind making money, and a lot of people don't understand how that works. And it's very, very simple. First, what is the need for what you do? Now we're in the insurance industry. There's this is a $1 trillion industry. There's a tremendous need for what we do. Great. That means you have the potential to make a nice income. Now, where the rubber meets the road, and a lot of people don't get this, is what is your ability to do what you do? Are you as good as Nick? Are you as good as Matt? Whatever your ability is, that value is what you're going to be paid in this marketplace. And then more importantly, how hard is it to replace you? So what happens is guys come in and we say, hey, listen, Matt, I want you to come in the field with me. I'm going to show you how to knock doors. Now, I've already put my 10,000 hours in. I've been doing this for 5 years. So, of course, if I take you on a route for one day, we start at 9 a.m. We don't come home till 9 p.m. I got a route of 24 doors. I'm going up to the door. How you doing, Mrs. Jones? Mrs. Jones, my name is Damon. I'm the Senior Benefits Coordinator for this area. Looks like you recently requested some information about final expense coverage. I was just simply stopping by to see what you qualify for. Where can we sit? Boom. I'm getting in door after door, get a couple rebuttals. Oh, I apologize. I know you weren't expecting me, but I'll tell you what, your number is such and such. Yeah, if you're anything like me, you don't answer numbers that you don't recognize. So I'll tell you what, if you give me about 3 minutes, I'm only here to see what you qualify for. I'll be out of your hair quicker than your favorite shampoo. Boom, they hear those couple of things, right? Guys are probably getting excited right now. They're like, oh, that's a secret. Damon just said it. But here's what they're not willing to do. They're not willing to put in the time I put in. Guys, I had a training here at the office on Wednesday. I had 2 agents in here, and we're just going back and forth, rebuttal after rebuttal after rebuttal. And I gave them the secret, but I don't think they caught it. I want to give it to you guys right now. The reason I got so good, so quick, is because I understand how to collapse time frames. I'll give you an example. I think I read a stat. The average insurance producer will do at least 3 to 5 appointments per week. That's average.
Yep.
Now, the great ones will do 15. Now, here's the thing. I looked at that and I said, okay, if the potential in the industry is unlimited income, and my income is directly correlated to how good I can get at this door approach, that means most people, let's say they're knocking 20 doors a day, that's 100 doors a week. They're saying that door approach 100 times a week. Over a year, 500 times. Perfect. So how do I get as good as they got in a year, in a month? Collapsing time frames. So I teach people something called the mirror technique. If you want to sell somebody, first you got to sell yourself. So I encourage every single agent that I partner with, get in front of the mirror, and the script that I give you, I want you to do it in the mirror 1,000 times until your voice goes numb. Because just like any practical sport, any professional sport, I'm not going to do the majority of my practice in the game. I'm going to do it before. But what it ultimately comes down to, guys, is what are these guys willing to do? They want that immediate gratification like you were talking about, Matt.
Well, you said before when we didn't record it, you were talking about you said a meme on Usain Bolt, but it wasn't a meme. It was. But do you want to tell that stat again? Because I think it's a powerful thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's directly correlated to what we're just talking about. I'm talking about putting, hours and hours. I'll never forget. If you ask my wife today, we stayed in a 1,000 square foot apartment when we first started in the business, and I used to be in the basement every morning for about an hour and a half before I went into the field, and I'd be going over my presentation. The day before, if there was a rebuttal that my upline had given me, I'd be practicing that in the mirror before I ever go on the field. And to your point, what that stat said is Usain Bolt, which is arguably the fastest man to ever run, right? If you guys don't know who that is, look him up. But the stat said that Usain Bolt practiced, he trained for 9 years, for almost a decade, to run, check this out, to run in 119 seconds worth of, that's about 2 minutes. Train for 9 years, run for 2 minutes. Now check this out, guys. Compensation, right? $109 million. Practice for 9 years, run for 2 minutes, get paid. And here's the funny thing. I went to college, right? I got a very expensive receipt at the end of it, right? The funny thing about it is people will go to school for 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, come out to make 60 grand a year, And when we sit them down and say, hey, listen, I can show you how to make 60 grand a month if you're willing to listen. After 30 days, it ain't working, Matt. What's going on, man? These leads ain't working. You sold me a bill of goods, Matt.
No, you got to put the time in. It's a skill-based profession, right? Like, if you don't put the time in, if you don't put the effort in, you're not going to learn the skills. And it's the guy that taught me, Travis Tubbs, is fond of saying, we make more money than most doctors. You can't expect to make that kind of income without putting in a little bit of the effort that the doctors are putting in. They went to school for 8 years. All we're asking you to do is like 1 year of hard work. And then you will also make more money than most doctors.
Yeah.
But even if you suck, right, and you just stick and stay for 5 years, right? Let's say
you'll make more money than most
let's just say you can't collapse your time frame. You don't do the mirror method. But if you just go and knock 20 doors a day, and it takes you 5 years, and you go from 25 to 30, and by the time you're 30, you're that good. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay, right? You can still make. Then you still have another 30 years or 20 years or whatever it is to be that good for the next 30 years. Like, you're going to be working for the next 30, 35 years. You might as well do something that you're going to eventually enjoy, and that you have an unlimited cap potential of income. Like, there's no stopping it. You can go as much as you want to.
But the problem with that, man, it sounds very easy to say, right? It sounds very easy to say, hey, listen, just stick and stay for 5 years and you'll be fine. But what I've found is a lot of people are coming from a 9-to-5 background, employee background. There's a mindset that goes into that. And the crazy thing is, if you've ever had somebody in a training room, I had about 12 agents doing a training, and I asked them all, I said, hey, raise your hand if you can tell me with absolute clarity how much you got paid every month or every 2 weeks at your previous job. And of course, everybody knew. Here's the issue. When you ask someone, how much will you be making in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days in our profession? No hands go up. They have no idea. And they don't even know what they project to make. So guess what I say? A lack of clarity of vision causes de-acceleration towards a goal. You'll never hit a target you can't see. So to ask somebody to stick and stay for 5 years with a lack of clarity, it's not going to happen. Because guess what? I don't know. And that lack of not knowing will cause fear. And that's when that fear causes them to not go in the field and even put forth the effort that's going to improve their skill. So before any of that, before I teach somebody a door knock, before I teach them anything, hey, let's get clear on why the heck you're in this industry. Because you can do $1 million. My philosophy, if you're not making at least 10 grand a month in this industry, you shouldn't even be doing it.
No, you shouldn't.
Because
there's way easier ways to make that money.
Yeah, man.
So many easier ways to make that kind of money.
Man, and people are lost when I say that. I'm like, no. Listen, you can. I heard, and Matt, you might remember the guy, but I remember a manager saying that this business is so easy. A dog could literally strap an application at the back of its butt, run around the city for a day, and it will come back with it filled out.
With 3 applications, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but it's because they don't know. And if we can get a lot of these agents to just be very, very, first of all, honest, because a lot of people are sharing what they want just because they heard somebody else say it. It's not authentic to them. They don't really want to become a millionaire. Stop it. No, you don't. You barely get out of bed by 10 o'clock every morning. Chill out.
Right.
You don't want to be a millionaire, right? What do you really, really want? Because you can live a beautiful, fulfilling life in this industry and not stress yourself out about being a 6-figure earner if you're honest about what you want. Now, the door knocks become a lot easier.
No, absolutely. And it's a fundamental thing for all sales. I mean, it's not like this is not stuff that you're making up. This is stuff that I've been told my whole career. This is stuff that you hear successful agents talk about and trainers talk about. I remember my first insurance job working for Combined Insurance. They made us on like the first day, they would send us to sales school. So we'd go to sales school for 2 weeks, and they would teach us all their presentations and stuff. But the very, very, very first thing they did was they sat us down with this giant, like, poster sized sheet of paper and said, write down why you are doing this. And like everybody wrote down to make money or to help people. And the teacher would come around and be like, those are not good answers. To make money is not a motivating answer. To help people is not a motivating answer. Write down as specifically as you can, what are you trying to get out of this job? You know, and it's not a bad exercise. People should go through it. Like my entire goal is to make enough money that my wife never has to work and that I can always be home for dinner with my kid. And that's it. That's what I want, you know, and I'm fortunate. I've been able to do that. But like,
look,
you gotta have.
I apologize to interrupt you, but you said something earlier. I think Matt asked you a question like, hey, when someone gets that no at the door, what makes them continue? For you, you know, hey, me getting this no does not matter because me going to the next door will prevent my wife from having to work, and it's going to get me home by a respectable time with my kids.
Yeah, and that's it. Like that's what keeps me going. You know, you got to have something specific. You got to have, like, you know.
Well, for me, and y'all are saying everything right, because before, when I was at our first place, for me it was just like I was just this guy that was just having fun in this business, and then I met my wife, and she was my girlfriend at the time, right? And it's when I first went independent, and we got on this call and everybody was talking about their why, and they were like, "What's your why, Matt?" And I was like, "I don't know, I'm just like good at this." Right? Like I just enjoy it. And the guy was like, my manager was like, "Dude, I don't know what you need to do, but you have got to figure out why you're doing this." And at that time, I was like, well, I want her to be my wife. I don't want her to have to work. You know, she's from a different country. So there's right now we're in the time where she can't work. So we're only reliant on my income. But we're not stressed about it. We live in a beautiful home, right? We got a brand new puppy during Corona and all this stuff, like where everybody else is like freaking out. We're buying new furniture, all this stuff. Well, that was my why. I started taking business more seriously when I found my why. When I did, I made, like, my income was like boom, right? It just went so high up because of the why. And so what you're saying is 1,000% right. But when I first got into the business, I'll never forget this, Damon, and you'll enjoy this video, because I went out with a trainer that he was my trainer. He was my handler, right? I came from a finance background. I'll say that. I dropped out of high school. I was just in finance. I got really good at it, right? I would basically go to the hood and knock on people's doors that didn't know I was coming and say, "Hey, you owe my company money. Give me a check." So when I went to the meeting where they told me all I have to do is knock on a door and ask somebody for a check and they're going to put money in my account, I went, "This is legal, right? I'm going to get paid for getting the check every time." They're like, "As many times as you want." The guy that took me out, he was like, "Hey man, the first thing you can't do," and I was like knocking on the door. I didn't know what I was going to say. I had no idea. I just had this lead card, and I was like, "Hey, you filled out the thing?" And she was like, "No, I didn't." I was like, "You definitely did. It says right here your name and address." It was, Damon, it was a walk list, right? It was a walk list. And the lady was like, "Okay, I guess." And this is what I did. I'll never forget this. I said, "Look, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm 100% honest here." I said, "But what I can tell you is if you answer no to all these health questions on this one-page application that I have here, and you're not lying to me, and we call into the company and they say you're approved, if you give me a $50 check right now and you die after they say yes and you signed it, you will get exactly $10,128 worth of insurance." And she was like, "Bet." She wrote me a check, handed me the check before we even did the application. She got approved, all that stuff. I was just so excited about what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so the door knock came natural to me.
Yeah.
But the door knocking is so important about what we do in this business. It's a skill that you almost have to learn if you're going to sell final expense. It's essential to what we do. It doesn't mean that you're going to have to do it forever, right? Because you've made transitions mainly because of Corona. But when you teach, you're teaching on the door knock because it's an essential part of what we do, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's funny you would say that, man. A lot of people would see us now and they think we've always been this way. At a time, I was the most talented guy that lacked integrity. I used to tell people all the time, man, my talent would always get me somewhere where my integrity could not keep me. And a lot of people are missing success because of that. So when I got into Lincoln the year before, I had literally made 12 grand. I was moving furniture for a company called 2 Men in a Truck. I apologize for saying the name of that company. But anyway, our previous company. And dude, I was 3 months past doing all of my utilities. I was literally about to be evicted from my home. All I had was a 20 set of leads for Cincinnati. And that was about 2 hours from where I lived. And that was the only method I had of making money. Now, I made 9 grand within the next 10 days because I simply went to work. I door knocked every single one of those leads. So when I teach door knocking, I think there are some fundamental things that can assist people. And the one thing is the approach, the door knock, in my opinion, starts the night before. I think a lot of people aren't successful in door knocking because they just simply don't have a schedule and they don't have a routine that they stick to on a daily basis. The night before, I have every single one of my leads already grouped together. I've already planned out my route for the next day. I don't care whether I have appointments or not, because a lot of people will have appointments and think, hey, I got a 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I'm good. I would still put my appointments in my route as if they were just simply another stop by. Because as it happens, some people will stand you up. I go to the home before or the home after and just continue with my route. But I tell people it starts the night before because it's also a mindset. I want to have absolute certainty and confidence when I show up to somebody's door. So first of all, I'm practicing my door approach. My door approach is very simple. I just said it before. How you doing, Mrs. Jones? My name's Damon. I'm the Senior Benefits Coordinator for this county. It looks like you recently requested some information about final expense coverage. I was just simply stopping by to see what you qualified for. Where can we sit? I tell people to assume everything in your favor. Literally, every single home that I go up to, I don't care if it's a TNOC, I don't care if it's neighborhood enrollment, I don't care if it's a lead. I am assuming that you are expecting to see me, you're excited to see me, and you're gonna write me a check today. And a lot of times people don't understand that that client is going to feel you before they ever hear anything that you say. They might have been sitting down watching Judge Judy. They might have literally just sat down from their lunch. They just picked up from a nap. Maybe they just took their medications and they're a little groggy. We got to understand that on the other side of that door, that person was living their life. So if I come to the door and I'm fearful, I'm scared, I'm lacking in faith, I'm literally knocking the door, hoping that the person doesn't answer.
Yep.
When they come to the door, if I'm not certain, if I'm not excited, I heard Jordan Belfort say it best, sharp as a tack, enthusiastic, and a figure of authority. I see so many agents just not properly groomed. The first thing I tell people when it comes to door knocking, hey, wash your car. Wash your freaking car. Go listen, spend $200, go get it detailed. Why? Because A, it's gonna make you feel different. And guess what? That is the first representation that people see when you come up to their home. Well, Damon, I park a couple houses away. Trust me, they saw you when you pulled on the street, right?
Yeah.
Properly groomed. Hey, if you're a male, properly groomed, right? Nice haircut. You don't have to be the best looking person, but have your beard shaved, tuck your shirt in. If you are going to wear tennis shoes, make sure they're at least put well together. And then when you go to the door, people love to speak to somebody of authority. That's why police officers wear uniforms. That's why when people see the UPS man, they can identify them as a figure of authority in that profession. Well, for many of us, I see, Nick, you have your company's shirt on. I think that's incredible. I don't care what company you're with. Represent something, right?
Yeah.
It automatically gives you credibility when you go to the door. So those are a few tips that I give about door knocking as well.
Yeah, and also, when you say assume, I'll never forget this. I was in this mode where I would door knock every lead, and we rolled up to this guy's house, and it's in the middle of nowhere. We parked, and it had an old van that was like overgrown. The house had, it was a typical final expense house. Well, we pull up, and I start getting out of the car, and the guy who was riding, I was training with me, he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Get out of the car. I'm going to lock my car because the guy's home." He's like, "The guy's not home. Nobody's here. There's no car." I was like, "Get out of the car."
Right
now, and he got out of the car. I assumed that I rolled up my windows. I locked my door. I'm going to be there for a while. It might rain, right? Well, when we got out of that house and we wrote 9 applications out of that one house, because not only he was home, his sister was home, the grandkids, and all these people. We wrote 9 applications of that one house, and it was like a, I don't know, $3,000 home.
Yep.
He was like, "Dude, I would have just drove away from that house." You have to assume that the people are home.
Yeah.
You said it perfect. Like, most agents, when they first start door knocking, when they knock, they hope that nobody hears them, right? They knock and then they run away. The other thing about door knocking is seniors are a little slow, not like mentally. They're actually super sharp. But sometimes I sold this huge case one time because the lady lived upstairs and it took her 7 minutes to walk down the stairs. She was like, "I'm so happy you waited because every time the door rings, I have to walk all the way down and then all the way back up." I waited for her because I knocked and then I called and she's like, "I'm coming." Most agents would just leave.
Yeah.
But just wait a little bit. It takes some time to get across the house. Don't knock and then like, "I gotta go," and then you're out. You'll see more people. I don't know.
Right. Like, what else do you have to do? They live there. Like, where else are they? Especially right now. Like, people aren't going places right now. You're showing up in the middle of the day. Almost none of our people have jobs. Like, they wouldn't be sending in cards if they had jobs.
I'm going to a doctor's appointment. No, you're not. No, you're not. Yeah. Come on, you're in your moo-moo. It's 2:00. Steve Harvey's on. You're not going. Come on. Actually, Steve Harvey's over. You got 5 minutes. Come on.
Yeah. Right. Just, I don't know. I was talking to an agent this morning who I was telling him, like, he was telling me he had 17 preset appointments in a week, and he managed to present to like 5 of them and close 1. And I'm like, how did this happen? And he was like, because like
hey, that is a real question of a leader right there.
Like if you had 17 people that you should have been sitting down and giving presentations to, and you only managed to present to 5 of them, there's something has gone wrong, right?
Terribly wrong.
Right. So, but it's very easy, especially if you're nervous, especially if you don't have a real good reason to motivate you to keep going forward and to just like walk away, to not stick and see the whole thing through and try and close somebody.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, you guys know the story of Ray Kroc, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. My biggest thing when we were at the previous company, especially when I was really, really heavy into door knocking, is I wanted to get at least 3 solid no's before noon. I knew my numbers. One thing I encourage of every single agent, know your numbers. I get these calendars. I've gotten these for the past 6 years. It's a gallery leather planner. It's a weekly academic planner. And in the beginning, in the front of it, it literally has your calendar days. And then your calendar for the month. And then in the back, it has your daily schedule. I'm a huge proponent of not only keeping my schedule, but knowing my numbers. So this is what I did. We didn't really have a system per se when I started in the business. So for an entire year, and I've been doing it ever since, I would keep track every day of what city I worked in, what actual hours I worked. So from the point that I arrived at my first home to the point that I left my last one, I would keep those hours. I would write down how many stop buys I did, how many presentations I did, how many sales I got, and get this, my income per day. I had an income per day goal. And this is what I would do. I would write down every single day, okay, I did this many stop buys, this many presentations, this many sales. I've kept it for the past 6 years. So I know without a shadow of a doubt, I get a sale every 13 knocks. So I don't care what I'm doing. I knock on 13 doors. That 14th one is always a sale based on the last 6 years. Guess what else I know? I know every time I knock a door, just a knock, based on my income, personal producer, I get paid over $83 a knock. If I make a presentation, I'm paid well over $303 per presentation. If I get a sale, close to $1,000. And guess what? I know those numbers based on proven results. Right. So this is what I tell agents, listen, your business should be predictable. Ray Kroc, when he came up with McDonald's, the idea, he was asking people where he should put his locations. And all of his friends said, oh, you got to put them in residential neighborhoods. You got to put them next to schools. You got to put them next to parks. Because the mothers during the day, they're not going to feel like cooking burgers, fries, shake, perfect for their kids for the evening, right? He said, sounds like a good idea, but no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick them at the edge of freeway exits. And his friends were like, that's dumb. Why would you do that? He said, that's simple, because I need thousands of people every day telling me no. And so I tell agents, yo, fall in love with people telling you no. Every time somebody tells you no at a door, just say, thank you for the 50. Because more than likely, if you continue to do the system I'm sharing with you, you will get paid about $50 for every door or no you take. And that completely changes the game, because now they don't feel directly rejected or that they're not going to have to pay their bills just because somebody didn't answer a door.
No, absolutely. No, that's great.
Real quick, Damon, do you mind after the call getting me a link to that calendar, that if someone wanted to go buy it, so we can put it in the description of this video, so if someone would go get that calendar, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. That looks awesome. And you can see, I don't know if y'all saw it on the video, he still to this day writes down all of those things.
Every day.
It's almost like a system.
Yeah, here's why. Because every single day, if I was working a job, which I tell most agents that are coming from a job, hey, real quick, you're not an entrepreneur, buddy. Okay? No, you're not a business owner. Get that out of your mind right now, because people seem to have this switch when they come over from a job to an opportunity that now I'm entrepreneur of the year. I can set my own schedule. Hey, honey, do you need milk in the middle of the day? I got you. No. I need you to treat this business like a job.
Yes.
Not a hobby. I don't have any hobbies that pay me well. So what I do every day is I wrote down my schedule, because I think the only thing that really keeps people away from being successful is a lack of discipline. But if I can discipline myself to keep a certain schedule every day, what time I'm waking up, what time I'm working out, what time I must be in the field, any family activities. Like Nick said, hey, I want to be home with my children by a certain time every day. If you know that without a shadow of a doubt, with 168 hours in a week, you will have time to be successful. This whole bit about, oh, I didn't have time to get in the field this week. What else are you doing?
No, this is your job. This is how you pay your bills.
Come on now.
Right. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
If you really asked agents, I want you to say something. You're in like a training. Ask how many agents, like realistically, who can really say that they worked from their first door to their last door 40 hours a week. It's insane how many are no. Like not at all.
Hey, you know what? I was a great producer, and I don't think I worked 40 hours a week.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
you don't even do, like 30.
Yeah, like there's something called IPAs that I teach people. It's called income producing activities.
Yep.
Guess what? Don't get it twisted. Driving in your car, you do not get paid for that. You are not working if you're driving in your car. Great, yeah, you got to get to your appointments. But the only IPA that I know about in this business is making a presentation. So at the end of the week, don't talk to me about how many hours you were in the field. Don't talk to me about how many doors you knocked. how many presentations did you make?
Exactly.
If you made 5 presentations and you're telling me you want to make 10 grand a month.
Yeah.
We're going to have to reevaluate your goals, buddy. All right.
Yeah.
I can keep you accountable to you making 2 grand a month, but making 5 presentations and 10 grand a month, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's never
Not
going
in
to
5
happen.
minutes, right?
Yeah.
So
12 to 15 presentations. If agents would just figure that out, whatever you got to do, right? From Monday until whenever you can hit 12 to 15 presentations. This is Nick's. This is how you do it, Nick. Like when Nick hits a certain production goal, he's like, I'm done, because he's hit what he needed to hit, right?
Yeah.
I hit my goal. I go home. I'm done.
You're going, like, right.
I don't need to keep
And
working.
your goals line up. It's like you do this many presentations, and normally, most of the time, Nick, you're either done by Monday, if not by Wednesday, because you don't go in the field on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
In 2 days. Yeah. Sorry.
It's like it's 6 presentations over 2 days, or like 3 presentations over 4 days. Like, it's not that much. Like, you can talk to 6 people in 1 day. That's okay. That's not a huge ask for anybody.
Yeah.
Like, go out and talk to 6 people. If you can, and you've got leads, right? It's not like you're going around with a list. Like, I mean, maybe you are. If you're going around with a list, it's a kind of different math. But you know, if you've got leads, this is why you should go buy leads. Go buy leads.
Yeah, it might be a different math, but there's actually math done on it already.
Absolutely.
People
and you
have
still need
done
to
it.
give those same presentations.
Yeah.
You know,
it still comes down to number of presentations.
You know what I told
the
people,
only thing that
though?
matters.
One of the biggest issues that I've seen a lot of times, just for me personally in building, is people come in with one of 2 resources. Either they have time or they have money. Not everybody has money when they come in. Not everybody can invest in leads. It is what it is. I'll be honest, I didn't. So thank God we had the structure that was set up at the time, because I didn't have any money. But yet and still, at the end of the day, look at what we sell. We sell life insurance. I don't know anybody that's alive that's going to get out of the world that way. We're all going to die at some point, which means to me, it's not a lack of resources as to why people aren't successful. They're just not being resourceful. You know what I tell people that can't afford leads? Hey, listen, this is what you should be doing. In the front of every Giant Eagle in Kroger's, there's this little guide next to the renters, and it says senior guide. And guess what? That senior guide typically has every single independent living and every retirement community available in your town, city, or county. So guess what you do? You call and you ask for someone called the service coordinator. And you tell the service coordinator, hey, my name's Damon. I'm the senior benefits coordinator for this area. We had a couple of clients that were in your building, but you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to throw a free workshop, maybe a little pizza party for them, because I know they get a bunch of solicitations about different companies, and some of them are underinsured. And guess what? Some of them don't even know, but they may have a 2-year waiting period on their current coverage. If you wouldn't mind, I wanted to take at least an hour. I won't mention any company names. I just want to educate your residents on what I do. Not one benefits coordinator is going to say, no, we will not have you. What they'll do is they'll look at their calendar and say, well, when can you come in? Guess what? The average amount of people that can make it, if you market it well, will be about 15 to 20.
Yep.
If I buy a Little Caesars hot and ready, that's $5. I can get, let's say I get 3 pizzas, that's $15, 2 liters. Now I've spent $20 for 20 people that are in one location, that afterwards, all I'm doing is going from apartment to apartment. How can I help you? It takes absolutely no money to do that. But again, for a lot of these agents, it's like, what are you willing to do? If you don't know your why, or you don't even know your targets, that idea I just gave, that's $1 million idea, by the way, they won't even do that.
Nope. I used to do that.
Yeah,
I didn't take the. I didn't take the senior guide. I automated a little bit. I went and actually found all of the things, and I got the benefits coordinators' email addresses. I mass emailed all of them. I didn't even carbon copy where they couldn't see it. They all saw I was reaching out. It was so bad. I didn't know what I was doing, but I still had. I did like 100 emails. Like 19 messaged me back. right? And half of them were no, right? The
Really?
other half were like, well, it's because I was like a really bad email. I was like, hey, I want to come. Well, it's like, you know what I mean? It was just it was like Matthew Murray 00@gmail.com. It was like not professional, right? I had no idea what I was doing. But
Right.
9 of them were like, here's our schedule. Tell us when you can come in.
Yeah.
And I booked like 2 a month, like 2 a month. I basically like 2 a month for the next like 3 months or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would end up writing. I actually had someone come with me because I always believed in having a hype man with you.
Yeah.
So they would like hype me up. Then I'd come in and speak.
Yeah.
And I'd give out some cash and give out some dollar bills because like seniors love dollar bills around the end of the month.
Yep.
And I would do this thing where I'd book like 12 appointments out of 15 people. Yeah. And I would split the sales, and we'd write anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 out of every time. Every single time, man. Every time.
Listen, the shy salesman has skinny kids. Straight up, the shy salesman has skinny kids. Every single person that gives me a receipt, they get my business card. If I'm going through Kroger's, if I'm going through any market at the gas station, somebody on the other side of the pump, hey, really dope car, man. Hey, do you mind if I give you my business card? Yeah, my name's Damon. I'm a life insurance agent with the state. I don't know if you need anything for yourself, but I tell you what, keep my card. If you ever need to talk or want to do a policy review, give me a call. I'm all over Facebook. I'm all over Instagram. I'm shouting from the top of the mountains what I do, because another great thing about what we do, I think this industry, when it comes to building, it's one beggar telling another beggar where they found food. Yep. Bro, I was broke, like with multiple O's in the beginning of 2015. January 1st, 2015 was a very bleak, dim, and dark time in my life. Yeah. And this industry completely changed my family's last name forever. So what's funny is now I've come to the point, Matt and Nick, where I don't even try to convince agents to do anything anymore. A pair of lips will tell you anything, right? I done heard many agents say how great they're going to be. Show me through your work. Don't show me through your walk, not your talk. Because honestly, you have the tools. Nick, you have the tools. If you guys have made 6 figures, which I know you have, and I was on your team, I'm doing everything you tell me to do, period. So,
yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Couldn't end up, better there. It's been about an hour, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. That's what I like about these videos, that, we're like, hey, we're going to do a 20-minute video or 30-minute video. It ends up being an hour because it's just like 3 final expense guys that are getting together at a bar, like, right? It's kind of like the setting, right? And we're just talking about what our passion. Yeah. Hey, I'm drinking water too, Damon. I drink wine. But it's just our passion, and it comes out on video. That's why I love these videos. And Damon, you have such a passion for what we do. You had the same passion when I first met you, and the same things that you told me about the IPAs, the income producing activities, was there 3 to 5 years ago. Whenever I don't even remember when we spoke, but years ago, right? It seems like so long ago. I'm not acting like it's like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And so much has changed since then.
Yeah.
But what has not changed is the door knock.
Yeah.
Guys, learn how to door knock, right? This video went a little past door knocking, but I think it's good. I think this was a great video. It's an incredible video. So guys, what do you think down in the comments? Did what Damon talked about resonate with you? Did what Nick talked about resonate with you? Did what I talked about ever resonate with you? Do you want to have Damon back on? I would like to have Damon back on because his content's fire, and he has a really cool voice. He sounds like a late night talk show host. But Damon, seriously, man, appreciate you jumping on, spending some time with us, having the same passion that you always had over the last couple of years, man. I just absolutely love it.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, guys. Again, I see everything that you guys are doing, continuing to serve, continuing to help other people. I think we have a responsibility when we get to a certain point in this business that no matter the monetary kickback that we can get from agents, that we just share the information that's advanced to us. So for you guys to even have this platform says volumes about your character and who you guys are. So again, I really appreciate you for having me on.
Thanks so much for coming. It's been great.
Yeah, seriously. Hey, thanks again, guys. We'll talk to y'all soon.